speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kurt? I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kurt, dog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, dog. I'm who you with, Kurt, dog. Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully y'all had a great weekend and been safe with all the rain that came through today. As you can see on my face, the sun is shining bright. So welcome y'all to the show. Hopefully you can live chat with us in the chat room. Welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. So man, it's been a busy weekend. So we're gonna go and get it started. Here in the Metroplex, here in Dallas, yesterday morning, a 4-year-old child was found in the middle of the road, murdered. And after they found out the child was murdered, they did the investigation, called in the FBI, and they did make an arrest last night, which is, early this morning. Darren Brown, I believe his name, was arrested. Now, as of a couple of minutes ago, he haven't been arrested for the murder just yet, but they do suspect he is a suspect in it. Now, he been arrested on 2 charges. One charge is kidnapping. The other charge is burglary. But they're expecting for this for the charges to go up. Then he had the nerve to be smiling on his mugshot. How sick are you? Because here it is. This baby was murdered and left in the middle of the road. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the parents. They haven't identified the baby or anything like that. But to do this, you have to be a sick individual. It's no other way of putting it. Bad enough to kill someone, but a baby? Yeah, that's just heartbreaking to me. When you hear about a child being murdered, then you appear with a low smirk on your face. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Hopefully, those charges are upgraded soon. But this happened in the 7th sector of Dallas over there. I want to say it was near, I may be wrong, near, it was over at Oak Cliff. So hopefully they do, this baby get justice. Nobody, especially not a child, deserved to be murdered.
like that, an innocent child, 4 years old. Yeah, welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. Thank you for always tuning in. Yes, that's why I said the sun is shining after the storms we had today. I had to run up to the store earlier today, and when I came out, tornado sirens started going off, and I'm like, "Oh Lord!" Uh, and they went off twice. So uh, thank God, one wasn't spotted in my area, but I heard up in the northern section of Dallas, a possible tornado did hit up there. So hopefully everybody is okay. But yeah, it been a crazy day. We're expecting rain at least until next week, um, here in the Metroplex. And the weatherman must have the best job possible, because they said it wasn't going to be any severe weather, but they lied. And that's about the only job you could do. Um, you can be wrong and still keep your job. So yeah, I know the weather is unpredictable, but hey, that's what happened. So uh, so I changed some stories around because I didn't want to talk about the baby last. That's a hard feel. And for the young lady that actually found the baby, I know that's going to be a scene that she can. It's going to be hard for her to forget that scene. So hopefully she do get counseling, and uh, do get counseling to help her with that vision that she had to experience and describing how that baby looked. But that dude, yeah, uh, I'm sure they somewhere pulling straws right about now. I'm gonna switch the stories up a little bit because I know uh, the next one probably gonna take the one after that probably gonna take a long time. But Jamar Sutherland, I haven't heard about this case up until I think it was Friday. I heard about it, and I'm like, whoa, this sounds too familiar. Um, so South Carolina released the account of a mentally ill black man that happened back in January. Here it is, May. They just not doing it. But the thing is, they know for sure it wasn't no question about if he had mental illness or not. They know he had mental illness. He was bipolar, but they knew this. And some people may say, no, they didn't. Yeah, they knew this because he got into an incident at the mental facility he was in. Got into a incident there with someone, and he was arrested from there. So they, it's no way to go around this one. They knew this, but still, they should at least had someone that can communicate with him in a way where it's not an issue. And that's not what happened with them. So the story itself is newly released footage showing how a black man died as deputy forcibly removed him from a South Carolina jail cell. It's the latest case to raise question about law enforcement use of force during encounter with mentally ill people. Jamar Sutherland died at the Sheriff Al Cannon Detention Center in North Charleston on January 5th, 2021. The Charleston County Sheriff Office said footage showed deputies pepper spraying and tasing Sutherland, who was 31 at the time, multiple times after he appeared to resist leaving his cell for a bail hearing. Now, he was pronounced dead after attempts by medical staff at the facility to save his life, according to a news release issued by the sheriff office at the time. The footage from jail surveillance cameras and body cameras was released Thursday night at the request of Sutherland family. Charleston County Sheriff Kristen Gazzino said in a statement posted on Twitter late Thursday night, "Mental illness does not give anybody the right to put their hands on my child." Sutherland's mother, Amy Sutherland, said in a news conference Friday, describing him as an example of what I wanted him to be. "I want y'all to know Jamal was a great man. He had faults like everybody else, but he was a great man," she said. "I'm content that God has Jamal." Family attorney Mark A. Pieper said the family would endure to answer Sutherland's last question. "What is the meaning of this?" People with mental health issues are entitled to the same exact civil rights as you and me and every other healthy, wealthy person in this world. Suddenly death comes at a time when law enforcement are under increased scrutiny from their use of force, particularly against Black people and other people of color, in addition to their encounters with people in the midst of mental health episodes like Daniel Prude in Rochester, New York, and Miles Hall in Walnut Creek, California. Two deputies involved in sudden death were initially suspended for 30 days and are now on desk duty, said Gazzino, who was elected in November and began her duties as sheriff on the day of the incident. Charleston County Solicitor Scarlett Wilson has said her office is reviewing the case and she will decide about whether anyone will be criminally charged before the end of June. Now, the thing is with this, the video I seen, you can see the officer tasing him several times. And Sutherland asked, "What did this mean?" One time, when he first tased him, he was on the ground. He was on the ground. He told the officer, "I cannot get up. I cannot walk," after being tased. The officer told him to crawl back, to him. That's the reason why they question, what did this mean? Because if he cannot walk, it's going to be kind of hard to crawl back if you have no leg movement. But once he got there, they ended up pepper spraying him. And he was also tased again. Now, here it is. A person that you know that has mental illness and you're going through this, you could have called someone. You knew what time he had to be at court. You knew you picked him up at a mental health facility, but still, they didn't provide the help for it, the proper help. Because here it is, once he got into jail, he's in his cell by himself. Now you come in, same people that put him in there, come in, Want to take them out? Take them to court? Come on now. Be smart about it. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. Said, hey, Kurt Dog, hey, radio. Welcome to the show. Thank you for always tuning in. You too can also chat live with us in the chat room. Regardless of where you're located, you can always chat live with us. So my whole thing is, in this particular situation, people say, we shouldn't defund the police. We shouldn't add more money to services like that. But the thing is, if we don't take mental health serious, as this is Mental Health Month, if we don't take it serious enough, more and more incidents are going to continue to happen like this. And the sad part about it, people would blame the victim. Now, what do I mean about blaming the victim? First of all, people say, well, he just was pretending like he had mental health. No, mental health is serious. And if you're honest with yourself, we all have a little mental illness going on from this pandemic, from having to deal with all the murders by the police of innocent people. Not only that, we had to deal with a terrorist attack on the Capitol, on Capitol Hill on January 6th. Excuse me. Then we had to deal with 4 years of Trump. Yeah, that will make anybody lose their mind. So yeah, we all are dealing with some type of mental illness, stress. But it depends on how you deal with it. Like I said, I take counseling every Tuesday, 12 noon, 12 to 1. So don't call me during that time. You might get your feeling hurt. But so the thing is, at some point, we all need to take a mental break and ask for help. It's okay to get counseling. It's okay to ask for help. I've said on shows before, if you are in the Metroplex and need a counselor, we've had Miss Kincaid on the show. We've had Miss is she gonna get me out? I forgot her name. The other counselor we had on, but we've had them both on, and they're great counseling. If you are in the Metroplex, I can always hook you up with them. And the funny part about it, Miss Simmons, that's her name, Miss Darriynn Simmons. The funny part about it, a lot of people don't realize you could get counseling for free. If you are working, you could go to your HR and say, hey, I need some EAP, Employee Assistance Program. Ask them about it. And they will provide counseling for you for free. It's up to you, but you just have to go to it. They're not going to come and say, hey, you want counseling? No, you need to go to them and ask for it. And these counselors accept different insurance. Now, if you don't have the insurance and you're able to pay for it, I'm sure, I don't know what the prices are, but I'm sure they will discuss the prices with you. But it's always good to get some type of counseling. It's okay to get counseling. People say all the time, and I'm gonna admit, I used to be one of them. T-Cal said Trump alone was enough for mental health. Yes, it was. But I'm gonna admit, I was one of those black folks that said I don't need counseling. I don't need somebody up in my business like that. Only thing they want to do is find out all my business before they can talk about me behind my back. Well, one good thing about a counselor, just like an attorney, just like a doctor, they have to. It's a client privilege. They cannot go out and discuss that. Even my counselor told me they told me and they said, look, if you see me out in the streets, you don't have to speak to me. For the simple fact, if you don't want people to know that you're taking counseling, you don't have to say a thing to me. And it's okay. And they also told me they would never approach me if they see me out in the street. That's the type of privacy they have. So definitely uh, reach out to them. But please don't go to them and say, "Oh, I need free counsel." Now, first of all, if you work and go to your HR first, go to your HR, ask about the EAP program, and then contact them. If they cannot help you, they will refer you to somewhere that can help you. So, bottom line is get help. Get help. Don't try to deal with this by yourself. Mental health is a serious thing. So please get some help. Um, as for Jamar Sutherland, hopefully his family get justice. And they're talking about he was tased between 6 and 8 times. 6 and 8 times. The first time he was already on the ground and said, I can't move. I can't get up. But they tased him between 5 to 7 more times after that. It's something wrong with that whole picture. No, it doesn't make any sense, T-Cal. It really don't. It's something wrong with that whole picture right there. And they get to be on desk duty. No, they should be terminated. They should be brought up on at least manslaughter or something. It don't take that many times to get tased to stop someone. It don't take that many times. The first time when he said he couldn't get up, you should have went in there. If he said he couldn't get up, he was helpless. It was multiple people, at least two. And if he's already on the ground and saying he can't get up, you want to tase that man more? So hopefully this family get justice. And I seen this interview this morning. People ask, why do I talk about the importance of voting? The thing is, it's your right. It's your right to vote. If you want to see change in this world, you want politicians to pay attention to what you're saying, what your community need, what you need, vote. Get out and vote. Because here it is. And I'm not shocked about what I'm about to say, but the way they did it, Yeah, I'm talking about Channel 8 this morning. They politic Texas or whatever it's called. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I was watching it this morning. Now, I told y'all about the big race going on in Fort Worth, and you should be able to pull this up online. The interview with Deborah Peoples and her opponent. Um, the way that reporter came to Deborah, like he was pissed. So if you are elected mayor, are you gonna defund the police? I'm like, is it me or is this dude coming across with attitude? Um, and the whole interview with Deborah, and he did her interview first. With that whole interview, he seemed like he was mad at her. Seemed like he was pissed at her. And I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I'm tripping. And I said, I'm gonna wait until he interviewed little Becky. So they go to commercial, they come back. His attitude was completely changed when he was talking to the other lady, talking to her like he was her friend. He didn't have that aggressiveness when it came down to Deborah as he had toward Deborah to this other lady. Now, by you being a news outlet, whatever your personal belief is, it's not supposed to show up on the stream. You're supposed to have a neutral state on it. But this guy this morning, when he did that interview, I was like, really? Came to Deborah people very aggressive. Now, maybe I just seen that. I don't know, but I know what I seen, and maybe I took it wrong. But the only question he asked her about was defunding the police, and he didn't ask the other woman about it. If he did it so softly. He didn't speak to the other woman like he did with Deborah Peoples. That's why it's so important to get out and vote. I feel Deborah Peoples is a good candidate for the city, for the mayor of Fort Worth. It will be history made. The first, not only African American, but also the first Black female to be the mayor. So it's two history being made. Now, for what she stands for, I believe she's a good candidate. Now, little Becky, she's I know Mayor Price groomed her because she worked up under Mayor Price. They was close connected. So she kind of groomed her. So the city of Fort Worth, y'all need to make sure y'all show up May 24th and vote to June 1st. Then if you don't get a chance to go for early voting, need to show up on June 5th. You saying you want to change? Well, let's make that change. Make that change together. You want the laws changed? You want to hold these policemen accountable for their action? Start at the voting booth. Start there first by going out and voting. Let your voice be heard there, and everything else will fall into place. But if it don't, if any candidates say they're going to do something and they don't do it when they get in office, well, when their re-election come up, remember that and vote them out just like we voted them in. That's how you make a change. That's how, because people start getting nervous when they know people are paying attention to everything that they're doing. When you communicate with them, they have nothing to worry about. They get nervous. Some politicians don't want to communicate with you because they don't know what to expect from you. Kind of like when Kurt Johnson and Junior Izuno was on the show. Kurt, opponent, said he didn't have time to be a city council. But he won't step down. Been there for 12, 13 years now. What have you done? You haven't done much. I got a call today. I need to reach out to Kurt and see if we can make it happen. Someone reached out to me and asked if we can do a debate on the show. I'm going to reach out to Kirk and see if he's willing to do it. So hopefully we can make it happen. Because I have some concern about this other guy. They told me a lot of stuff, he said. Talking about he only concerned about certain zip codes. Talking about it's the wealthiest zip code in Texas, number 11. And the 11th place for the wealthiest zip code in Grand Prairie. What about the poor zip codes? You represent part of them. And I have concern about it. See, that's the deal with politicians. They get in these positions and they only cater to certain people. But when you're in these positions, you have to represent that full community that you are over. If you're not going to represent that full community, don't get in it. Don't get in it. So I'm hoping I can reach Mr. Johnson tomorrow and we can try to get that schedule. And if so, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm sure Mr. Johnson probably wouldn't mind, but this other guy, from what the person told me, he say he want to do it, but then again, don't know. People say a lot of things. Just like the weatherman said, the storms weren't going to be severe, but then tornado warnings going off and possible tornado in Dallas. So I'm just saying, but we will see. If it happened, I will let y'all know, and hopefully we can get it done before early election take place. So, man, I moved this story to last because I know it's going to take a while, and there's another reason why we need to get out and vote. Because I'm never known for any terrorists that have done an attack on America get permission to go on vacation. I don't understand that. You do an attack on America, then you want them to allow you to go on vacation, a family vacation. Well, my whole thing is a family vacation, you never should have been given bail. I never known for a terrorist to get bail in America. But um, it's one of those situations where this Delaware father and son arrested for their involvement in pro-Trump Capitol riot. Um, the man captured in a viral image toting a Confederate flag inside the U.S. Capitol building during the riot told federal authorities he normally flies the Civil War battle flag outside his Lower Delaware home. More than a week after supporters of President Donald Trump stormed the Capitol building, Kevin Seefried and his son Hunter was arrested. They appeared in federal court in Wilmington to face charges stemming from the Capitol insurrection. I'm gonna say the Capitol riot, terrorist attack. The two faced multiple federal charges, including entering a restricted building, as well as violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol ground. Court documented indicate that Hunter additionally faced charges of destroying government property. The man appeared separately for brief hearing. They spoke little, primary replying with "yes, sir" to the judge. Judge Christopher J. Burks is the one they had to answer to. But so last week, it actually, they ended up going to court. April 8th, well, last month they ended up going to court. And no, that's not the right story. It pulled up the wrong one. So, oh, excuse me. So basically, what's going to happen is they went back to court, asked the judge if they can take a family trip, and the judge gave them permission. One story at a time, I remember the asshole who stormed the Capitol with the giant Confederate flag. He's going on a family vacation while waiting trial. Kevin Seefried, the giant asshole with the even larger Confederate flag, who was captured walking the halls of the Capitol during the January 6th terrorist attack, also known as what happened when cream chips beef boils over, got approval from a judge to go on a family vacation. According to Business Insider, a judge has allowed Seefried and his family to take a road trip to Savo, North Carolina on May 15th and return to Delaware on May 22nd. And before you get all annoyed and think that's totally fucked up, I'm reading the story, I'm not making this up. I can only assume that the judge allowed the trip because he's going to effing Savo, North Carolina. In fact, when I looked up things to do in Savo, North Carolina, the only thing listed was be racist. Okay, fine. It looked like Savo, North Carolina. It's a beach town or some shit. I don't know, but races get to vacay, don't they? I mean, if not, then why does Florida even exist? Uh, and get this shit. I'm reading the story like it is because a family that races together also gets to chill together. Seefried's son Hunter, of course, his name is Hunter, who joined him in their mayonnaise slaughter attempt to overthrow the government, while also joining his family on vacation. Prosecutor took no issue with either defendant leaving town for the vacation because the men are white, and courts generally don't care when white men try to hunt down members of Congress and attempt to kill Capitol Police, just as long as black people don't deface buildings. Business Insider note that both Kevin and Hunter face multiple federal charges, including violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol ground and unlawful entering a restricted building. They have both pled not guilty to all charges and were released on bond. The two men will face these charges once they return from vacation, assuming that there aren't sunburn. Um, they surely, surely the court will adjust their court date. Boy, that was from Stephen A. Crockett Jr., senior editor at The Roots. So that story came from The Roots. Now, my whole thing is, now we had this judge in Texas to allow the terrorists from out west to go to Cancun for a company trip, her company trip. Then just so happening that was the same weekend when Ted Cruz decided to try to sneak off to Cancun. Now you have this this father and son terrorist group going on vacation too. Bad enough, all these terrorists got bond. They got bond. The evidence is there. The video is there showing them there. But y'all are giving them a pass to go on vacation. Now, I'm kind of like the writer from The Roots. If that was a BLM, we seen the way that they responded when it was a peaceful protest in DC. They had National Guard, police, local state troopers all lined up on the Capitol steps, making sure nobody can get up there. Which I don't think no one would have. I don't know. I wasn't there. Even if they wasn't there, I don't see it being anything nowhere near as bad as it was January 6th. But once again, it took the police a long time to respond. Trump started talking about January 6th a long time before that happened. Matter of fact, some of these elected officials knew what was going to go down. I believe there was one that said the day before, a bomb is going to come through or something. They said that they knew what was going to happen. But no one decided to call the National Guard. It even came out once it happened. Trump didn't want to call the National Guard. I believe the mayor of Washington ended up calling the National Guard. But they given these terrorists a vacation. Allow them to go on a family trip. Radio said nothing strengthened the father and son bond than a good old-fashioned storming of the Capitol. They going down in history, but they going down the wrong way. The thing is, hold these people accountable. How hard is that? How hard is it to hold people accountable? Here it is, the many videos we have seen of police killings. And only a small percentage of them been held accountable. Some type of accountability. It all goes back to voting. That's what it goes to, voting. Because if you vote the judges, wouldn't be there. These elected officials that allow these things to happen won't be there. Vote for the person that's going to be there for you and your community and be there for everybody. But because of the way that America is raised, the history of America, it always been a race thing. Why you think Donald Trump said, I could go and shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and nothing will be done? He didn't lie. Because he's a white man. That white privilege. But probably if a black man said the same thing, he probably get held for terroristic threat. That's the difference between black laws and white laws. We need elected officials that is going to be for everybody in your community. If they do wrong, hold them accountable. They do right, person. But if it's equal justice across the board, nobody can complain. And that's what we don't have. We don't have equal justice across the board. That's why when I first talked with Kurt Johnson and Junior Ezino, I asked them, what are you going to do for the community? And as they told me, I said, now look, I don't want you to get it confused. I'm not talking about just the black community. I'm talking about for everybody. They said, no. Once we win this position, I'm going to be for everybody in my community. I'm going to make a difference. That's why I support them. The other person, for what they told me today, he just said, look at my record. I did this, I did that. But it's only for one particular zip code. And my thing would be for him to say to that person, this zip code is number 11 for the most wealthy area of the city of Grand Prairie. Number 11 in Texas. What about the other areas? Sound like to me you're not concerned about those. So hopefully we can get them to debate because we need a change. People say, oh yeah, we're going to protest, we're going to march and all of this. That's fine. But also, if you're not registered to vote, get registered. Then take that marching to the polls. Get out and vote. That'll make a lot of changes. Because for the ones we have in office now, they don't need to be there. They don't need to be there. They not fair across the board. They only there to build up their resume, and that's it. They don't care about us. Just like Trump didn't care about everybody. See, Trump, when he was on the campaign trail the first time, whenever he see somebody who wasn't white that was in his rallies, he would tell them, do whatever you want to. I'll bail to get you out of jail. And they was attacking people that was supporting them just because they was a different color. Then finally he realized, wait a minute, I got some black folks supporting me. Then you start seeing different black folks standing behind them. Allegedly, it was some ads that came out that people was getting paid to do that. I'm not gonna sell my soul to the devil. So yeah, get out and vote. Let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard because we need to make a difference. You tried what you've been doing all along. Nothing had changed. Let's try something new. The new thing that we will try is to get out and vote, not just for the presidential election, but for all election. If your vote did not count, they would not be doing trying to do these voter suppression to keep you from voting. That tells you right there your vote do count. Your vote do count. Because if it didn't, they wouldn't be changing the laws about mail-in ballots or changing the hours of the voting polls and all of this. Because once again, the voting poll, the polling place, they used to be open 7 to 7. That was in order for people can come before work or after work. Now, some of the hours are 8 to 5. When people are already at work or on their way to work and don't have time to vote, and most people don't get off till 5. And some people are so blind and think it's only going to affect a particular group of people. That affects all of us. It will affect every last one of us. Because your vote counts too. Radio said if the GOP keep going the way they're going, they are on track to produce a worse candidate for president than Trump. I can see it. I can definitely see it. TCal said, sad. Matter of fact, I wasn't sure if I was going to get a chance to talk about it, but I'm actually going to pull this up. Um, there was a officer. Um, Let me see if I can pull it up on my big screen because after a certain age, your eyes start playing tricks on you. Um, the story won't even pull up now. Let me do this, and then for some reason it won't allow me to pull it up. But I'm gonna see if I can. Like I told y'all before, we are live, so sometimes things come up. Um, and we may have to pull it up online, but I want to be able to pull this whole story up. So okay, there it is. Cop nearly killed by Trump mob rips GOP for peddling bullshit on U.S. Capitol. Now this is what the cop said. I didn't say it. D.C. police officer Michael Fanwon said Republican riot denial is an assault on every officer that fought to defend the Capitol. Um, said a D.C. police officer who was captured by the January 6th mob at the U.S. Capitol and nearly beaten to death is calling out Republican lawmakers who are openly denying the violence that happened that day. Officer Michael Fanwon told CNN Don Lennon. And the mob egg owned by the president Donald Trump was attempting to stop the certification of the 2020 election and keep Trump, who lost in power. Many Republicans have since tried to defend Trump, and they counsel anyone in the party who dared to criticize him. State and local GOP bodies have censored Republicans for speaking out, and this week, Rep. Liz Cheney, Republican Wyoming, was purged from the party leadership in the House for blaming Trump for the insurrection and calling out his lies about the election. Since the attack, several GOP lawmakers have gone into full denial mode, with Rep. Andrew Clyde, Republican Georgia, claiming there was no insurrection. Really, I don't know what in the hell he was looking at, and insists the footage from that day looked like a normal tourist visit. I don't know what he was looking at. Rep. Paul Gosar, Republican Arizona, who was blamed by his own family for helping to incite the riot, called the insurgent peaceful patron who were harassed. Really? See, that's why it's so important for us to vote. Because these representatives, we need to get rid of them. Need to get rid of them. Representative Jody Hines, Republican Georgia, even claimed that the real victim were Trump supporters. And Trump has said the rioters was hugging and kissing the police. Video from Fan Body Cam broadcast on CNN footage. He watched with Lemon showed otherwise. He was assaulted by the mob, beaten with a flagpole, and zapped with a stun gun. But I guess back to blue that wasn't important then. Now, and I keep forgetting about this. The other day, and I was going to talk about this on Thursday and completely forgot about it. But on Thursday, my wife and I, we was out and about. Had to do still had to do a lot of running around. So while we was out, went in, got a car service. We're there getting our car service. Well, getting her car service. But I thought I was dreaming at first. So we're in this little private booth, just the two of us, because we still trying to stay away from folks. Everybody ain't wearing a mask. But this guy came into the booth next to us, and I guess he thought it was completely enclosed, but it had like a little crack between the glass where you can hear anybody conversation on the other side. And as soon as my wife and I walked in there, we probably had been in there about a minute. Then he rushed over into the room next to us, and he started talking about they getting ready to overturn the election. Said they found, now this, trust me, this is false information. Talking about they found where a lot of data was deleted, and he went to say, I hope they find at least 25%, 25% where we can get this election overturned and we can get Trump back in office. See, I don't know if I can. I'm a play this because you know me. At first, when they started talking, and because he had them on speakerphone and I can hear them, we in public. I said, well, I'm like, my wife and I, when we walked in, when we first started hearing the conversation, we like, what? I'm like, it can't be real. Nobody gonna believe this stuff. And I said, well, look, let me record it and see. And sure enough, um, make sure my phone is cut up because I always cut it down. But sure enough, I was like, I thought I was dreaming. I was like, no, I know this guy is not saying these things. Hold on real quick. I don't know how much of you can hear. You can't hardly hear her, but you'll be able to hear him.
You know what? This is terrible because it still takes people to prosecute and they won't be. How do we have it? That's the motivation. In 1 second. Bear with me. No, what I'm saying is the Dominion / cybersecurity Space Force, that is one of them. But the old school illegal ballots that don't affect the thing, just run through a machine and do that anybody legally. But that evidence is the one that is bigger. It's just different. Like there's the alien fraud, cyber fraud. But if you delete the records that you can't validate, it just delays, and even if they committed a crime, that'll take 2 years to prosecute. We'll be in 2000. They'll just say it's a mistake, that they won't prove it, they're not. Okay, so you're seeing that news as good news. I see it as bad news. That they, yeah, they were allowing Dominion to do it. You're going to see my prediction is the federal government, FBI, CIA, federal government's going to come in and shut this down. Then it's going to be, we're either going to go to war in the streets. It's going to be shut down by my, we're getting too close.
Go into the war in the streets. But that kind of tell you part of what how they feel about it, because my whole thing is he said a lot of things, a lot of stuff I didn't catch, but I think it was on there. But he also mentioned, "Oh, you getting me so excited! If they could find 25% of data that been deleted, we could get this thing overturned. I'm ready to go to war." Stuff like that. Look, I welcome everybody on this show. I don't care who you support, long as you are respectful and you come with facts. The facts in this situation trump laws. The fact that we have leaders that refuse to, that actually refused to impeach him a couple of months ago, which they should have, to make sure he could never, they could never run for another public office. But now some of them want to come out and say, "Oh, Trump is this, Trump is that." But anybody who speak out against him, they're in the wrong. That's why I say people are so easy to be brainwashed. Because when this guy was having this conversation, I wasn't trying to listen in on this conversation, but we're in this booth. He's in the booth next to us. He had the phone on speakerphone, and he was talking loud enough where we can hear it. And I thought I was dreaming. I was like, "Babe," my wife looked at me and said, "Is this true?" I said, "I don't know, but God work in mysterious ways. Let me record it because I can't believe what I'm hearing either." And there was about 16 minutes of it. About 16 minutes. Now, at times, you couldn't hear the person he was talking to on the other side, but you can hear him clearly and talking about how he was getting excited at everything she was telling him, and he was ready to go to war in the streets. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Radio said, "Keep in mind, Ted Cruz came in second to Trump during the 2016 primary. The Republican base seemed committed on voting for an asshole." I don't get it. I don't need it. I don't get it. Even after he said, grabbing women by the kitty cat, he should have been disqualified then. But instead, some people felt that was brave of him to do it. That's the reason why he's having legal issues now from a woman that said he assaulted her in a dressing room. Allegedly assaulted her in a dressing room. That's why the woman filed the lawsuit. Who you going to believe? Because at this point, she's saying it happened. Trump is known for grabbing women by the kitty cat, saying that they love it. They love it when you do that. I don't know any woman that loves to be violated that is in a right sense of mind. But for these Trump supporters, bottom line is that election is over. It's in the history book. It's not going to change. Trump is not coming back. Not during this time. And who to say he'll come back in 2024? This man have a lot of legal issues that he have to deal with. He may not have time to run. Don't forget about that $1 billion that's getting ready to come up due. I believe it's next year sometime. Then on top of that, he encouraged them to attack Capitol. People say, "Oh, he didn't say it for sure." Yeah, but he said, "Let's march down there and demand that they stop the voting. They don't certify the election." That was enough. But he didn't even go. And here's another kicker to it. It came out last week. Guess who have to flip that bill for the damage that was done? We have to flip that bill. They signing it into law saying that there's so much money for the repairs and the damage that was done to the Capitol. Make the ones that did it, hold them accountable. Make them pay it. Send them to prison. Let them work it off. That's how you do it. Radio says some family members of Trump supporters admit they can't even have a national conversation, a rational conversation with when it comes to these conspiracy theories. Scary. They seem to put this garbage before their own family. That's a mental illness. That's a mental illness. That's what people not realizing. That's signs of mental illness if you believe these conspiracy theories. At some point, you have to think for yourself. That's kind of like the young lady that was on TikTok or something. Said she was a part of this conspiracy theory, and she thought China was going to take over the world January 20th. She thought all of this, but nothing happened. Now, she don't believe in it. We have to think for ourselves. And unfortunately, A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. When I heard this guy Thursday, I'm like, I cannot believe this. And I almost went live. And I normally do not go live from my phone, but I almost did a Facebook Live when I heard this. Because I was like, really? This is what he gonna do? Guess he didn't realize the walls were not sealed. You was talking loud enough. Had it on speakerphone for everybody to hear your conversation. But like he said, his prediction is it would end with a war in the street. But why? That's kind of like I asked the question before the election. I said, look, we know somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. Are you willing to lose your life if your candidate lost? And like I said, I'm not. I'm not willing to lose my life. Yeah. If my candidate lost. It wouldn't be like, forget it. 4 years from now, we just do it again. Get somebody else. That's how you do that. But some people live and die by their candidates. Then you go up to try to meet their candidate. You won't even be able to get close to them. I see these people having a car covered up with Trump 2020 signs. Only thing you're doing is making them rich. That's all you're doing. And unfortunately, some people don't have a ball to pull piss out of. Some of the same ones that are doing these things, it came out, some of them used the stimulus check to go there. All to make a point. Radio said, I guess it made life a lot easier for the politicians just making stuff up. You don't have to do any real policy debate. Give them more time to raise money. That's all it is. Now, I don't know for sure, but I would assume all this Trump gear that he's selling, somebody making money off of it. That's kind of like I think Junior and most local candidates, they're like, hey, if you need a sign or a T-shirt, reach out to me. I believe I don't know if it's free. I know the signs, they'll put a free sign in your yard. But if you needed a T-shirt, I believe Junior and Kirk was giving them away. But that's the local level. Now politicians don't hardly come out. Like I said, when I was a child, we used to go out and pass out flyers for politicians on the weekend with my uncle. Different politicians would go out into the neighborhood, put flyers on the doors, and now we don't hardly see none of that no more. You're lucky if you get a postcard. Some of them will mail you something. Think just because your picture been photoshopped or allegedly photoshopped and you want people to just vote for you because of a picture? No. I want to know the person who I'm voting for. Talk with them. See what they all about. That's how everybody should do it. But I know we're living in a world that everybody want everything microwave. Want it right then and quick. That's how people do. Um, whew, yeah, they did. The Trump voters traded their country for a red hat. Yeah, a lot of them did. A lot of them did. Because all this time, one thing about January 6th, it showed us black to blue really don't matter. If it did, the officers wouldn't have been attacked. If you're proud to be an American, that terrorist attack never would have happened. But I guess it only mattered for certain people. So if this is your first time tuning in, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dell. You can live chat with us during the show. And please, if this is your first time, please subscribe, like, share, tell a friend that we are live. And definitely don't let it be your last time. Everybody is welcome here. I don't care what party you represent, as long as you are coming with facts and being respectful. That's all that matters to me. Facts and being respectful. You have to vote for who you feel that is best for you and your family. You may not agree with some of the things I say, and it's okay. We had the rights to agree and disagree. I'm not going to try to convince you from your belief, but I'm going to tell you, look, if you going down the wrong path, I'm going to say, hey, you might need to sit down and think about what you're doing for a minute. But that's up to you to make that choice to change. Yes, I talk about voting quite a bit on here. I talk about it for the simple fact people have become too comfortable and feel like our local elections are not important. Our local election is where our laws are made. They influence the laws on the federal level by what we do locally. Yes, it's still important to vote for the federal laws, but our local and state election is very important. Here it is. These runoff elections. Some of them never should be going on if people got up and voted. Also, you got to look at it like this. When we have to have runoff elections, then when taxes go up, that's why. One of the reasons why. It's a fee with everything. Somebody got to pay the poll workers, and somebody got to pay the people to count them. It's a fee for everything. So why get charged twice with what you could do one time? That's all I'm saying. In a democracy, you win some, you lose some. When it comes to the party you support, some people don't want to accept that anymore. Exactly. Some people don't want to accept it. I don't know why. Me personally, my candidate win, fine. They lose, fine. But I know what I did. I got out and voted. And when it's all said and done, yeah, I may vote for somebody they lose. Okay, fine. They lose. That's okay. They live to see another day. They live to see another day. And that's fine. I have no problem with um, voting for people that I feel that will win, but they may not win. I remember as a child, we used to do mock voting during election time. I remember when Jimmy Carter lost. Yeah, I felt like he was a better person. And I still feel like he was a great president, even though I was a child. Look at the work that he's still doing today with all the struggles he's gone through. Still on the front line. That's the type of leaders we need. So, but anyway, um, you have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk Dog. I'm Who You With Kirk Dog. You can always live chat with us during the live show, or you can also call us during the live show. The number is always strolling across the screen, and you can always reach out to us. Um, you can find me on all social media. Um, be better to send me a message, but please, no nonsense. I won't respond to those. Um, if you have a show idea, you're always welcome to make suggestion, and we will put a show together. So definitely. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Until tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. I will find out tomorrow if we can set up that debate between Kurt and Jeff, I believe his name, Kurt Johnson and Jeff. I can't remember the last name of the guy, but see if we could set up that debate on the show. And if we could get it set up, that would be great. So, so hopefully I'll have some more information on that tomorrow. But no matter who you are, no matter who you support, I love each and every one of you. Until tomorrow, if the good Lord say the same. Peace.